What's up guys, and welcome to a new video. So today we'll be covering my Ball Lightning Sorcerer that so far I have completed up to tier 10 with in the new Abattoir of Zir. This build has been awesome overall. It has great defense along with high damage, and the best part is it doesn't rely on any uber uniques whatsoever. If you're looking for a build that absolutely teabags monsters into oblivion with electric blue balls of death, then this is the build for you. In this guide we will cover everything from A to Z, including an optimized Paragon board setup with the new Tears of Blood glyph. As always, timestamps will be down below, so feel free to jump ahead at any time. If this video ends up being helpful, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and leave me a comment down below. There will be more tier 10 gameplay at the end if you want to go ahead and check that out. Anyways, let's get right into it. Starting off with the skills that we use in the build. For defense right here we use Flame Shield. Basically this gives us movement speed, mana cost reduction, and makes us go immune, kind of our get out of jail free card. We also use Frost Nova. Now we dropped our ultimate skill, we took Frost Nova. This gives us another cooldown, gives us barrier, freezes all enemies. It's really good in the Abattoir actually. We take Ice Armor right here. This gives us more barrier, mana generation, just really good. And then damage that we take while it's up gives us more barrier generation. We take Teleport just to get around quickly. This makes us go unstoppable. Proccing our Tibalt's Pants, just really good. When we teleport every time we get 30% damage reduction. It's just really good to have overall also. Down here we take Blizzard. The only reason we take this, well actually it does crowd control enemies and it kind of slows them down. We cast it here and there, but the main reason we take this is just to proc our Talrasha ring. And then obviously we take Ball Lightning. It orbits around us with the aspect that we have and just does heaps and heaps of damage. As for the enchantments, right here we're going to take Firebolt. Basically Firebolt makes it to where we're applying burning damage to all enemies. Helps to, it does ticks over I think like 8 seconds right there, and helps to apply our disobedience and keep it up as full stacks at all times. And also it applies fire damage for our Talrasha ring boost as well. And then right next to it we take Chain Lightning. Because of the Paragon board, this will be making enemies vulnerable, bouncing off of them, creating crackling energy because of a setup that we have with it. And then also the main thing with this is that it's going to get us a lot of resource back because of our Paragon board and because of an aspect that we take on our ring. For Vampiric Powers, up top we take Metamorphosis. This, in place of our evade, makes it to where every time we evade we go unstoppable. You want to try to keep this at level 1 so you can cast it more often. This procs our Tibalt Will Pants, gives us damage and resource back every time that we evade. And also it makes enemies vulnerable. Next up we take Ravenous. This is basically boosting our attack speed by a ton, which turns into damage for Ball Lightning. We take Resilience, gives us a ton of damage reduction for life that we're missing. Helps to make it to where you don't get one-shotted in like high dungeons or the Abattoir of Zir. We take Infection. Basically this is applying poison damage. The main reason we take this is to proc our Talrasha ring also. And then last but not least we take Prey on the Weak. Don't worry about the multiplier at the top. I guess that's actually additive damage, it's bugged or whatever. But this right here, enemies are vulnerable while affected by your Vampiric Curse, which is really nice to have, because we're always cursing enemies with our Metamorphosis. We'll go ahead and jump into the gear and aspects now. Just real quick before we go over the gear and aspects, you want to try to get your armor up to like 10k. That way with Disobedience, which now we have on our amulet, we're hitting the cap, which is really important to not, die all the time. And then on top of that, guys, you definitely want to make sure and get all of your resistances to 70. You'll see in the Paragon board, we actually have 73 to most of our resistances because of something that we choose in there. Up top here in the helm, you're going to want to get total armor anywhere that you can. Really important. Helps to boost our armor overall. And like I said, we want to have as high armor as possible. Get whatever resistance you're missing. Try to get maximum life and maximum mana. For the aspect on the top, we're going to go with Ever Living. You can see right there, you take 25% less damage from crowd controlled or vulnerable enemies, and enemies around us are always crowd controlled or vulnerable. For our chest piece, right here you want to get total armor also, and then you basically want to get, all damage reduction across the board, kind of like I have right there. And then we're going to take the aspect of the Protector right here in the chest piece, actually, gives us another barrier. We do more damage because of barriers, so that's just another way that we generate barrier. Right here into the gloves, we're going to go ahead and try to get attack speed, critical strike chance, and then you definitely want to try to get Unlucky Hit, the 5% chance to restore primary resource. That's really important. It helps to keep our resources topped off at all times, and with this build they are topped off at all times. You're going to go with the gravitational aspect right there for Ball Lightning orbits around you and deals 25% multiplicative increased damage. Now into the pants, you're going to go with Tibalt's Will on here. Gives us a huge damage boost. You can see right there, you deal 40% increased damage while unstoppable. Anytime that we evade, we're unstoppable because of Metamorphosis, and then also with Teleport, we're unstoppable. So we're always getting that boost to our damage. And then on top of that, also, guys, it gives us 50 of your primary resource back every time that we go unstoppable as well. And that's actually boosted by things like you see the resource generation there right there on a ring. So anywhere you have that, it's boosting it up. So I think right now we get 80 to 100 resource back every time that we evade. So that's just another way that we're getting our resource back. Down into the boots, we're going to go with the Sue's Heirloom. Basically, this gives us really high crit chance. We're critting like all the time. You can see right there your critical strike chance is increased by 28% of your movement speed. So we just get a huge bonus to our base crit. Has good other stats too, you know, movement speed as our killing and elite, crit strike damage, and mana cost reduction. Up here into our amulet, so you want to put this is something that I changed. You want to put Disobedience on your amulet. You know, you gain up to 1.7% and up to 99% increased armor, so it just boosts our armor at all times like immensely. So we're capped off, and we definitely want to have that. Now I went defensive on my amulet. You know, you can get like ranks to glass cannon or other things on there if you wanted to. I didn't want to do that though. I wanted to go defense. I want a really tanky build. So I have, you know, percent total armor. You want to try to get damage reduction while injured, which is really important. 3 ranks to our defensive skills, which gives us more ranks to our teleport, lowering the cooldown, and, you know, helps our other defensive skills also. And then also, guys, you see right there, you definitely want to get the 3 ranks to mastery skills. That's, you know, giving us more damage with our Ball Lightning, bringing it up to level 8. And then for the stats on there, you want to go with crit strike chance. You really don't have to have the crit strike chance, but, you know, crit strike chance, damage to close, you know, try to get maximum life, gives us more defense. And you definitely want to get maximum mana. And then really important, this is going to keep our mana up. You want to get the recharging aspect on there. Each time Chain Lightning bounces, gain 2.5 mana. And, you know, it's just bouncing at all times because of our enchantment. So we definitely want to have that right here. Real quick, you want to get rubies in all of your gear for maximum life. Right down here, you want to get the critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies with the emeralds. And then over here, either cap off your resistances or get skulls in there. To our second ring, you definitely want to get the Taurasha's ring right here. The main reason, obviously, is for each type of elemental damage you deal, which we deal 4 of them, gain up to 15% multiplicative increased damage for 4 seconds. So that's pretty much always up. And if you get a perfect roll on that, that's a 60% multiplier, because we're applying 4 different damage types, you know, that we talk about throughout the guide. So you definitely want to have that ring. Varshan drops it all the time. You can get it in the blood events. You can get it in nightmare dungeons. I've found a ton of them already. So it has a bunch of good other stats on it as well. All right, down here into the weapon, guys. Now I went with the wand for the 15% lucky hit chance. On the implicit, you can go with the dagger if you want to. And if you go with the dagger, then you get 30% increased damage to close. I wanted the lucky hit chance though. You definitely want to go with the stats that I have right there. All stats, intelligence, mastery skill damage, and damage to close. Those are our optimal stats for our wand or dagger. And then you want to go with the conceited aspect, deal 25% multiplicative increased damage while you have a barrier active. Now into our focus down here, guys. On the focus, you want to, right there I have intelligence, and on this build, intelligence, you know, transforms into damage. Good to have. You want to try to get the lucky hit another 5% on lucky hit to restore your primary resource. I have that right there and on my gloves, so I have a 10% chance, just helping to keep our, you know, mana up at all times. Try to get mana cost reduction, cooldown reduction, just get whatever good stats that you can find on your focus. And then for the aspect on there, you want to go with the Storm Swell aspect. You deal 30% multiplicative increased damage to vulnerable enemies while you have a barrier. Enemies around us are always vulnerable, and we always have a barrier, so that, you know, is a huge boost. I'm going to just briefly cover the skill tree. Up top, we put 2 points into Firebolt. This is our enchantment, and we have to put 2 points up here, so that's why we put 2 in there in order to progress. Down here into our core skill, you definitely want to get Potent Warding. This is going to give us maximum resistance, and, you know, 3 to all of them, and it helps a lot in the Abattoir of Zir, so you're taking less damage elemental. Get 1 into Devastation, 3 into Elemental Dominance. Basically, any cast over 50 mana, which is almost all the time with this build, we get a 9% multiplier. You're going to want to go into Chain Lightning. Now, obviously we go into Chain Lightning because this is our enchantment, and the reason that we take it all the way back here, as you can see right here, when Chain Lightning critically strikes, it has a 30% chance to form Crackling Energy. So this is just leaving Crackling Energy all over the ground, and we get mana back because of that. We get more damage because of our glyph in the Paragon board. And then, you know, with Crackling Energy, it's just ticking away on monsters too, keeping our disobedience up. So you definitely want to take that back into destructive. Down into our defensive skills, you're going to want to get 1 into Flame Shield, back into Enhanced and Mystical. For Teleport, you're going to want to get 1 into there. Actually, I think I have 2 points into there. Back here into Enhanced and to Shimmering. 3 points into Glass Cannon. Now, this is going to give you a nice damage boost, but you also take more damage. If you feel like you're taking too much damage, you could take these points out and allocate them somewhere else if you wanted to. I mean, down below there's a lucky hit chance right here. You can get another 15%. You could put them there or wherever else you wanted to. But, you know, I feel pretty tanky, so I do take Glass Cannon for more damage. Get 1 into Elemental Attunement to have a chance to reset one of your cooldowns on your defensive skills. You're going to put 1 point into Ice Armor, back into Enhanced. 1 into Frost Nova, back into Enhanced on that as well. That way it lowers your cooldown when you hit enemies with it. Into our Conjuration skills, we're going to get Align the Elements for damage reduction. And then Mana Shield and Protection, basically for Barrier. We have Barrier at all times because of those as well. Then into our Mastery skills, you're going to get 1 into Inner Flames. You know, with our enchantment, we're always, you know, making enemies burn. So the 3 ranks into Devouring Blaze, we get a 21% increased multiplier to our burning damage. Or I'm sorry, to enemies that are burning with our crit strikes. So nice damage boost. Obviously, max out Ball Lightning. Take that back into Enhanced. Now, before I was going into Wizards for the Crackling Energy. We don't need the Crackling Energy anymore because we take Chain Lightning back over here to Destructive. Now, we are going to run this over to Mage's Ball Lightning. Basically, this is stunning everything around us pretty much at all times. Like, everything's stunned with it, so it's just great for the build. You definitely want to go back to Mage's Ball Lightning. 3 into Static Discharge. This makes it to where we get Crackling Energy also. And then Invigorating Conduit. Anytime that we pick up Crackling Energy, we get 12 mana back, so it's just keeping our mana topped off as well. Down to the ultimate. Like I said earlier, we don't take an ultimate skill anymore. Get 1 into Coursing Currents so that we can get back here into Electrocution. Basically making it to where enemies deal 15% less damage to us because we're always hitting them with shock skills. Now into our key passives. I go with Veer's Mastery right here for the damage reduction. If you wanted to, you could go with the Suit's Ferocity. It's bugged or whatever, it does count for shock skills also, and you can get those bonuses, so you can get more damage with it. But, you know what, pushing the Abattoir higher, I think getting the damage reduction right here with Veer's is more important. Alright guys, last but not least, we'll go ahead and cover the Paragon board really quick. There will be a link to this if you want to check it out on a website over on Mobilytics. The link will be down in the description. Up here we're going to grab Elementalist for non-physical damage and maximum life. We want to get non-physical damage anywhere that we can because of a node on the Paragon board later on that you'll see gives us multiplicative overall damage. So we want to take that anywhere that we can. In our first glyph socket, we're going to get Territorial. You know, gives us damage and damage reduction. You're going to want to get Erudite, Elemental Balance, non-physical damage and intelligence, Erudite, all resistance and intelligence. The next board that we're going to come into will be the Ceaseless Conduit board. You're going to want to run over here and put Destruction, critical strike damage, and then also a multiplier with the additional bonus with our critical strikes that stacks. Electro for lightning resistance and intelligence, and then lightning damage and intelligence. The next board that we're going to come into, guys, is going to be the Enchantment Master board. Don't worry about that actual glyph. We do want to take this board, though, because on this board there's a lot of non-physical damage. You're going to run it up this way in this socket right here. You're going to throw Elementalist, dealing Fire, Cold, and Lightning. We get a 5% multiplier basically for 10 seconds, which is up at all times because of that, so it's a 15% multiplier. And then we get non-physical damage and all resistances. You're going to grab Elemental Balance right here and Erudite. Right here, you're going to get Elementalist for more non-physical damage and maximum life. Get all these around here. Ruinous right here for more non-physical damage and damage to elites. The next board that we'll come into is Frigid Fate board. Now, this is what I was talking about. The reason we stack all that damage is because you see that current bonus. Basically, we get that 25% multiplier. You can go up to 30% if you have more than I do. But we get 25 out of it, which is pretty nice right now. So right here in this glyph socket, we're going to throw Adept. Basically, this gives us mastery skill damage, and also it's supposed to increase the size of our, Ball Lightning. You're going to want to grab Weakness for vulnerable damage and intelligence, and Chilling for cold resistance and mastery skill damage and intelligence. The next board that we're going to come into is going to be the Elemental Summoner board. You're going to come down here and grab Reservoir for maximum mana and maximum life, and then grab this 2% over here as well. We're going to grab Charged right here. Don't worry about the crackling energy damage. Basically, we do it for the 5% multiplier up to 15% and the additional bonus right there, which is up at all times. Run it over here to Conjure and over here to Erudite. You're going to come down here to Keeper of Elements, more non-physical damage and all resist. And the final board that we're going to come into, guys, is going to be the Static Surge board. This is where we're going to have our new glyph, Tears of Blood. Obviously, you want to allocate everything in range. Now, at level 50, this gets a bigger radius. Real quick before we go over anything else, you could like pull out of this and, you know, like out of this if you wanted to, or out of this, however you wanted to do it to get that bigger radius, get the nodes around it. But obviously for right now, if I even hit level 50 ever, most people probably won't with how things are right now with the Abattoir of Zir, then I'll pull out of it and add, you know, around. But for right now, we're catching all the nodes with how the board is set up. So obviously you want to come over here, you want to put the new Tears of Blood glyph, you know, gives us huge damage and really good stats right there. Electro, Incapacitate for damage to stunned, and because of our choice with Ball Lightning in the skill tree, we're always stunning enemies around us, so we get that nice damage bonus. Up here for Paralyzing for more damage to stun and mana. And then last but not least, we want to get Static Surge. After spending 83 mana, your next cast of Chain Lightning basically makes enemies vulnerable for 2 seconds, which is always going off, and restores 10% of your mana. So that's another way from Chain Lightning that we're getting a boost, not including the aspect on our ring. Hopefully this guide has been helpful for you guys. If it has, you know, I'd really appreciate it. Give me a like and a sub. You know, it takes time to make these guides, and I try to, you know, make the best builds that I can for you guys, the most optimized. I'd really appreciate it. There will be more tier 10 gameplay right now if you want to check that out. Anyways, thanks for watching.
yet.